If you're feeling like you have no place right now, carrying painful thoughts, it's okay. There surely is a place for you somewhere. That's the kind of song I want to sing, as if whispering in your ear. From a life at rock bottom to making a major debut, that's me. No matter how famous I become, I vow to never forget to be there for others. My name is Maya. I'm 27 years old. My parents both graduated from a renowned music college. My father is a pianist and my mother is a violinist, so naturally, both my sister and I attended piano lessons from a young age. You could say we're a music family. Just because they graduated from a music college doesn't mean my parents are artists. My father teaches piano at a major music school. After my younger sister was born, my mother, who used to teach violin, started giving private lessons at home. Being a couple who graduated from a music college, our house is completely soundproof. So no matter how poorly we played our practice pieces, we never received complaints from the neighbors. This could be considered living off music in a way. We weren't rich, but our family lived in a detached house of the garden in the suburbs of New York, and we had a grand piano. My grandparents, who sent their son to a music college, were quite wealthy, and the same was true for my maternal grandparents. The marriage of the two, who met during their time in music college, was greatly celebrated by both sets of grandparents. When it came to building a new house upon marriage, I heard that both received substantial support from their parents. For both sets of grandparents, sending their children to a music college was somewhat of a status symbol, akin to a brand preference. I suppose it's not strange for a couple who graduated from a music college to want their children to pursue music, but I hated piano lessons. The beginner's bar was just boring. It was all monotonous repetition and never fun. So I would hit the keys at random and sing surreal songs I made up, always getting scolded by my piano teacher. I was what you might call a problem child. My sister, Kate, started attending the piano lessons 2 years later and was a model student who obediently listened to the teacher. Plus, she was very cute, so it's understandable that my parents' expectations focused on her. As for me, with my curly hair, flat nose, and freckles, I couldn't exactly be called cute. So it makes sense that my parents' affection was directed towards my sister. This was the case not just for our parents, but also for both sets of grandparents and other relatives. I was always compared to my sister, who was always praised for being more excellent and cute. Not only our parents and grandparents, but neither the piano teacher nor any of the adult relatives took any interest in me. Perhaps I should have just diligently attended piano lessons and shown a spirited effort, but I didn't. The thought that no matter how hard I tried, no one would recognize my efforts weighed heavily on me. My parents probably heard plenty about my poor performance from the beginner's lesson teacher. When I quit the piano lessons, neither my father nor my mother said anything. Occasionally, when I felt like it, I would play random melodies on our piano at home and sing. Since I lacked the basics, it was all a mess, but that was fun for me. You shouldn't do that, sis. It's not okay to just touch the piano like that. And your playing is all over the place, my sister criticized one day as I was happily singing. It's fine, really. It's fun, so you should try it too, Kate, I said. My sister hesitantly sat down next to me and started playing the keys. For the first time, we played the piano together, almost like a duet. It was really fun, but then our mother came storming in and said, "What are you two doing? Maya, you're not to touch the piano anymore. Kate, don't imitate your sister," she shouted, taking the piano away from me. I didn't hate my sister, but I felt jealous and had a complex mix of emotions. Sometimes I wondered if I would have been more loved by our parents if my sister had never been born. I hated myself for thinking that way. At my sister's piano recital one day, she wore a brand new dress and looked like a princess. My parents did buy me new clothes too, but I clearly looked inferior. It wasn't because of the clothes, but because I was not as pretty as her. In contrast, my adorable sister played beautifully, earning applause from the audience. Next to a beautiful and talented sister, I was just a dropout who couldn't play the keys properly. Even at family dinners, Kate was always the center of attention. My parents would eagerly respond to her stories, smile affectionately, and praise her for even the small things. I tried to get their attention, but it felt futile, too. But their responses were cold at best, merely nodding along. "Mind your manners. Eat your food quietly." I was scolded like this sometimes. To the outside world, we might seem like a wealthy family with a piano, parents who graduated from a music college, and daughters who are well off. But why is it only my sister loved? Why does mom only hug her? Why does dad only gently stroke her head? If my sister scores 80, they praise her happily. But even if I score 100, they just coldly laugh and say that I lucked out. Since childhood, I've concluded that I was just an unattractive failure. However, it's not like I wasn't fed or beaten every day. Some might think these are luxurious worries, but inside our home, I felt like I had no place. When I entered middle school, I joined the music club. It was a regular club activity at a public middle school. For my parents who thought only classical music was real music, jazz, rock, and pop were simply other genres. Well, that might suit Maya, I suppose, my father said mockingly. Just to bring a guitar into the house, my mother added. The music club had instruments. They were all worn out, apparently donated by alumni. Donation sounds nice, but essentially they left behind what they didn't need anymore. The club members were 2 seniors, 4 sophomores, and including me, only 3 freshmen. Surprisingly, in this music club, not even half of the members could play. After school, they would just come to the club room, listen to their favorite music through earphones, or watch videos unrelated to music. But I found this relaxed atmosphere comforting. There was a senior boy who was good at guitar named Tony. Tony knew a lot about old popular music and would perform it with his acoustic guitar. His guitar skills were great, but his singing was so-so, which was quite amusing to listen to. "Tony, how do you know so much about old music?" I asked. "Both my dad and mom love music. You could say we're a musical family, I guess," he replied while starting to play music. Once, while casually humming along to Tony's guitar, he was really surprised and said, "Maya, you're really good at singing." I hated not just how I looked but also my voice because it wasn't feminine like my sister's. Following Tony's encouragement, I sang a song. Before I knew it, other club members were also listening to me, facing my direction. "Nice, I've never heard Liv singing this good before. This song is tough, but you've got a great range and your slightly husky voice is really nice," they said. Hearing this from everyone made me blush because I wasn't used to being praised, but I was incredibly happy. For the first time, I felt acknowledged and praised by many. Just that made me tear up, and though everyone in the club room was confused, they all showed concern and comforted me. Since that day, I started singing with Tony's guitar accompaniment from old to new songs. Club members made requests. It was truly sad when Tony graduated. "Maya, you're such a crybaby. Why did you come to the same high school as me? I'll be waiting," Tony told me. "Let's keep playing guitar and singing together." I was overjoyed by those words, but then Tony said, "My family is having a graduation celebration. Do you want to come with us?" Tony's family, consisting of his parents, a younger brother, and a younger sister, was a family of 5. The celebration was planned at a family restaurant. The younger brother and sister were making a fuss, excited that their brother brought a girlfriend. The father teased Tony about being all grown up post-graduation, while the mother was surprised, saying, "When did he get such a cute girlfriend?" "She's not my girlfriend, she's a music buddy," Tony said, a bit flustered, his face turning red. Being called cute was a first for me. "Thank you," I said with an embarrassed smile, which made the whole family laugh. "You guys better listen closely, her singing is really good," Tony said, raising the bar high. His family gave me a heartfelt round of applause after I finished singing. "I really love your voice, and I think you're cute too," Tony confessed quietly in my ear. It was like a dream come true. Tony's family was so kind and warm. As we were leaving, I couldn't help but say, "I wish I was born into Tony's family." I muttered that without thinking. Hearing this, Tony looked a bit like he was going to cry and gently patted my head. Tony's high school is a regular public high school, and with my current grades, I should be able to pass without any problems. When I told my parents about it, they seemed uninterested in my education. When I said I wanted to go to this high school, all they said was, "Is that so?" Just that. They were probably too preoccupied with what to do about my sister's education. Eventually, my sister was set to go to a flexible private middle school where my parents would continue her technical music lessons. Obviously, this was to prepare her for music college. It was probably convenient for them that I went to a public school, considering the private school fees. Even during my exam studies, I sometimes visited Tony's house. When I successfully passed the high school entrance exams, Tony's parents celebrated and were happier for me than my own parents. What awaited me in high school was a well-equipped music club, complete with a drum set, which surprised me. "We've heard about you from Tony. "Welcome to the music club, Maya." I was welcomed by the senior club members. "I'm Maya. I can play the keyboard a bit." I introduced myself like that, and then Tony interjected, "No, that's not right. Maya is a vocalist, right? That's why we're forming a band." There's a high school band competition organized by a music store in the fall, and it's decided we'll be participating. They participated last year too, but couldn't win any awards because the vocals were lacking. In our opinion, it was still better than most. "That's why I told you we're not good at singing," I said, realizing the vocals that were lacking last year were Tony's. I told the seniors that a really good vocalist will be joining us next year, and they were all looking forward to it. Tony said with a smile. Tony had already made a place for me. Some of the other first-year students who joined at the same time felt a bit envious, wondering why I was getting special treatment. But after hearing me sing, everyone understood and agreed. I couldn't thank Tony enough. "Tony, I can never thank you enough for what you've done for me. I'm truly grateful," I said as we walked home together. "You're crying again. You're still a crybaby, Maya," Tony said, gently patting my head. We were runners-up in the high school band competition, but I was awarded Best Vocalist. During my 3 years of high school, I enjoyed a lot of good music and moved out right after graduating. My parents were too focused on sending my sister to music college, so what I did didn't matter to them. Tony and I actually started living together, working as a waiter and a bartender at a live house while doing live performances. The band we formed in high school continued into our adult lives, and it was very fun to perform on stage with close friends. Occasionally, I hear from my sister Kate. She graduated from music college and went into teaching. When I decided to congratulate her and visited home after a long time, my parents looked at me very coldly. My long, brightly dyed hair and many ear piercings must have surprised them, as they frowned upon seeing me. When I revealed that I work as a bartender at a live house, their attitude was clearly disdainful. "A dropout who can barely play the keyboard might just be right up your alley," my mother said, looking at me as if I was a failure. Despite just having entered the school, I felt a sense of belonging and excitement for what was to come. Embarrassing. "You're a laughingstock even among our relatives," my father called me, the disgrace of our family. It confirmed once again that there was no place for me in this house. But my sister was different. "Sis, you're not planning to come back to this house, are you?" "I'm envious of you," she said, looking down. "Envious of me? How could you understand anything about me when you've been loved by our parents your whole life?" I thought but couldn't say out loud because my sister looked so sad. Now I understand my sister was a victim too. "I'm more nervous here than on stage," I said. "It's okay, it's no different from our usual gigs," Tony replied, patting my head like he always does. "Today is my wedding party. It wasn't really my style, but I wanted to announce it to acquaintances and thought it was a good opportunity for us to mark the occasion. Still, it being out of character for us, we opted not for a formal ceremony but for a casual stand-up party outdoors. Instead of a wedding dress, I wore a white dress that was more revealing than typical for a bride, adapted from one of my stage outfits. At the party venue, my parents and all the relatives were completely out of place. My parents did accept the invitation, but after seeing the atmosphere of the venue, my father approached me to complain. "What is this? All the relatives are laughing. It's shameful," he said. Indeed, most of my friends were from the music scene, and their attire was more suited for a live house than a wedding. In this setting, my mother, dressed up properly, seemed almost out of place. "Now, let's have a song from the bride and groom for everyone," someone announced. When I sat down in front of the white grand piano, the relatives began to laugh. "Isn't she the failure of a musical family? Isn't she embarrassed to play the piano in front of people?" I could hear such voices, but I'm not bothered by that anymore. As I began playing the intro, the venue quieted down a bit. "I've heard the song somewhere before," someone murmured as I started singing. Everyone in the venue was listening intently to my song, including my parents. The band members joined in halfway through, helping to elevate the song. After the song finished, applause erupted from the previously silent venue. "Isn't this the song from that TV show? Wasn't it really popular on that video site? Wow, is that the real deal?" Whispers like that reached my ears. The song I sang was about a child who grew up unloved finding their place in the world. Wrapped in mild words, it became quite the topic online as a critique of toxic parenting. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for attending our wedding party and our major debut celebration. We deeply appreciate the support you've all given us up until now and ask for your continued support in the future, Tony said during his speech. As crackers sounded throughout the venue and everyone started making noise, our activities centered around live performances and online streaming have been recognized, and we have become a popular band before we knew it. And then, signing with a major label happened. Maya, that's amazing. I've heard that song before. The relatives, flipping their stance, said to me, truly a musical family. Aren't you? Just a minute ago they called me a failure, but those lyrics. Well, they said this while smirking and looking at my parents. The meaning behind those lyrics includes you too, not just my parents. My parents themselves were trembling with red faces. What are you thinking bringing us to a place like this, making us feel ashamed in front of everyone? That's not music. Are you not embarrassed to sell out your parents like that? Indeed, my song that used my parents as a subject had hit big, but once again I realized my feelings would never get through to them. Shouldn't the first thing you say to Maya be an apology? Tony stepped in between me and my parents. Don't you understand how much she's been hurt since she was a child? What? Who are you to talk about things that don't concern you? At that perfect moment, my sister Kate arrived. Sis, that was amazing. When I saw that commercial on TV, I knew immediately it was you, she said, hugging me. My parents looked on dumbfounded. The only one who had music talent in our house was you, sis. Mom and Dad had their pride in being music college graduates, but they never really enjoyed music. After graduating from music college, Kate became a middle school music teacher. I may not have had much talent, but I want the kids to enjoy music, something maybe Mom and Dad wouldn't understand. Kate must be an excellent teacher, no doubt. What's gotten into you, Kate? You've never talked back to us like this. Before, yes, my mother was flustered. Is this Maya's influence? Our dear Kate has changed. The hardships Kate had to endure, pretending to be the perfect child under our parents' command, was something they would never understand. Dad, Mom, thank you for coming today. Today is not just our wedding and our major debut, it's also the day I've decided to part ways with you. I no longer consider you my parents. Goodbye. I told my parents this and then stood close to Tony. Maya is now part of our family. My parents, my brother, and my sister, although not related by blood, all consider me family. Tony's family watched warmly from a distance, the band members I had shared both good and bad times with since high school, and above all Tony, that's where I belong. Having been abandoned by their beloved daughter Kate as well, my parents left disheartened. Not long after, Kate also left home and started living on her own. Despite my parents' tearful attempts to persuade her, she wouldn't listen at all. Lately, Kate sometimes joins my band's live performances as a keyboardist. Do you remember the time we played the piano together? It was so much fun. I remember. It was one of the few happy memories from that house. I'm thrilled we can make music together again. Music is about enjoying the sound. Somewhere along the line, my complex about my sister disappeared. Now, she's a sister I'm proud of. With my beautiful sister's help, our fan base face seems to be, hey guys, this is Ethan. Welcome back to the Brickhead_X787 channel. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. We're so close to our goal of 100k subscribers and every last one counts. Now, let's get started. Click. His features pause in place. He looks the same as he did all those months ago. Shaggy, brown hair curling toward almond eyes. A smattering of freckles across a crooked nose. A small shy smile across his lips. When I click again, he'll spring back to life and peals of his laughter will fill this silent space. It's a small consolation. Click. You've been asking, and after weeks of hard work, I'm pleased to finally present the Mario Odyssey. This beauty is a brick-built, 1352-piece replica. Now, we did commit a Lego full pause and paint a few pieces. Special thanks to Amy for creating the moon counter, but I'd say those details just add to the realism. Click. A single touch of the mouse rings loudly in my ears. It's a sound as isolated as I feel. I hover the icon over his eyes. They're called the window to the soul, and I want to see inside of his. Click. Now, I'll upload some videos of the building process over the next few weeks, but movement in the periphery and then his girlfriend is in frame. Click. She's buoyant and everything I'm not. Her blonde hair falls in soft waves when mine is lank. Her figure is slim. All of her clothes seem to fit. My oversized, stained Metallica sweatshirt is both a comfort and an embarrassment. I wonder what she would think of me. Click. 5 seconds. Click. Their kiss is swift, but it seems that even small injuries still bleed. They look so in love that my stomach is sick. I slam my mug down too hard and something rattles and then falls. For once, I couldn't care less. I need to play the video, but I close my eyes. I forgot that she was in this one. Click. We interrupt this broadcast with the one and only Amy. Now that she's out of hearing distance, I can tell you guys this. He leans in conspiratorially and fuck him for making his viewer feel so intimate. He reaches into his pocket, fumbles, and then pulls out 2 airline tickets. The first anniversary is paper. He winks. She'll find out when she edits this. Click. My heart is in decay. I think of chest cavities, erosion, infection. I think I'm going to be sick. I mute the video, hit play, and just watch him. I listen in the silence for the words he never said. I search desperately in the arch of his eyebrows, his downcast eyes, the turn of his lips. There must be some way, somehow, that he told me he was going to kill himself. 206 videos. There must be something I missed. The novel is a masterpiece, but the donghua set me up with how they look in my head while reading. But novel any day if I had to choose. I've always wondered how much a difference the translation makes though, and I wish I could read Chinese solely to answer this question. Oh my word, I'm the same. I just wanted the top happy endings too. For a CBL, I was just happy that the 2 male leads connected so well and gave us those nods to their relationship being more than buffs, even though we, heartbreakingly, knew they could not end up together as lovers. I ask myself that question all the time. Do I have the strength to be reminded of all the sad things so soon? No, I will eventually. Check out the donghua. Be strong. Lodia. How does one move on after this series? I was thinking maybe my post would give newer folk a little bit of hope. Like, it's been 4 months and I'm a little more over it now. I think, lol, a bit more time. I couldn't do it right away, but did have the strength to be reminded of all the sad things so soon, lol. I'm still not done. It's Unworthy donghua. I'm part way through that. I nice just doesn't hit the spot so much, Bick. I already know what's going to happen. But yeah, I would recommend it. Expanding the news that the song was about our parents spread, and I heard my father's music school's enrollment increased. But behind the scenes, he's called the toxic parent teacher, and it's taking its toll on him. My mother also unable to bear the cold looks from relatives and neighbors, quit giving private lessons. It's sad if all that's left after pouring so much love into your favorite daughter is worthless pride. And inside me, a new life is growing. I wonder, can I truly love this child? Sometimes I feel so unsure. As I caress my growing belly, I voiced my fears. Maya will be fine, and even if by some chance something happens, I will love both Maya and our child. Tony said, his ear pressed to my belly, whispering, "You're right. There's no way I wouldn't love Tony's child. I'm really grateful to you. Thank you. I realized how incredibly happy I am right now.